Hello everybody, it's Adrian for WapCar.my and I'm all about the details. Today is day 6 of the Movement Control Order or MCO in Malaysia. So I hope you guys are well and are staying at home as you should. Now because of MCO, I can't go out to film our usual video reviews, but that's okay. Right now I'm in my home to sit down and talk to you guys about a very interesting topic. Proton X50 versus Perodua D55L SUV. Now these two are one of the most highly anticipated car launches to be sold in the Malaysian market, and they are expected to launch in 2020, most likely late 2020. Now these two are very attractive SUV body styles and are expected to be priced under 100,000 ringgit, so it's relatively affordable and accessible to many Malaysians. However, a lot of people are comparing these two as equals, the X50 and the Perodua SUV. But for me, having seen both cars in person, I think it's unfair and unjust to compare these two cars apple to apple because they are for very different target markets. First up is the X50. The X50 is based off the Geely Binyue sold in China, and that car uses the B-segment modular architecture or BMA platform. It's a derivation of Volvo's CMA platform, so you can guarantee it has high safety, high technology, as well as dynamic driving. On the other hand, the Perodua SUV is based off the Toyota Race and Daihatsu Rocky, which was recently launched in Japan. Now those cars uses the Daihatsu New Global Architecture platform, DNGA, which is a derivation of the Toyota's TNGA platform. Now in terms of engine options, the X50 that's coming to Malaysia will be adopting the 1.5 litre turbocharged 3-cylinder petrol engine. Now that engine makes 177 horsepower and 255 Newton meters of torque. It's paired to a 7-speed wet dual-clutch transmission, which is seen on the recently launched Proton X70 CKD. It allows the X50 to sprint from 0 to 100 in under 9 seconds, so that is pretty impressive for a 3-cylinder engine. On the other hand, the Perodua SUV would adopt a 1-litre turbocharged 3-cylinder petrol engine that makes 98 horsepower and 140 Newton meters of torque. It's linked to a CVT automatic, and you can see that it's clearly geared for smooth city driving as well as fuel economy. So I've personally experienced touch and feel the Binyue as well as the Daihatsu Rocky in previous events. So I can share with you my experience and share with you some of the highlights of both cars. So let's start with the Binyue. It's an immensely attractive car. The exterior design is sharp, it's a handsome looking SUV, but what's very interesting is that it has 4 exhaust pipes versus the engine, which only has 3 cylinders. Yeah, it's a bit of a mismatch there. But once you step inside, the interior is immensely premium plush. It gives you a very modern, high-tech kind of cabin ambience. The same can't be said with the Perodua SUV, but more on that later. So what are some of the pros and cons of the X50 first? Pros are the X50, the touch points are amazing. You get lots of high-tech and advanced features such as advanced driving assistance systems with semi-autonomous driving. It even has a panoramic sunroof, large 10.25-inch center screen. All the features you can ever imagine in a car, it's all available in the Binyue/X50. However, what's not so great is that the rear bench is not as spacious as the Honda HR-V. The tailgate is extremely heavy to operate, so I think female drivers would have a bit of a trouble trying to push it down or even open it. Now next up is the driving dynamics. The engine performance is superb. You will have no issues blasting down on the highway, except the suspension is rather poor in its refinement and undulation, so hopefully Proton's ride and handling department will do something about that. And next up is the engine's MVH levels. It's quite poor, it's not very well insulated, so you can hear and feel a lot of the engine vibrations and noise coming into the cabin, so that's not very great. On the other hand, the Perodua SUV is a very different product, as I've mentioned earlier. It's more targeted to the entry-level market, so it's not as plush and premium. You can imagine it as a larger size SUV Myvi. So you get lots of hard plastics on the interior, on top of the dashboard, the side door trims. But then again, there's no problem with that because it has a very practical interior. They have lots of storage space here and there. and the rear bench is surprisingly comfortable and spacious enough given that its size. It's a little bit smaller than the X50. And knowing that it has a quote-unquote a cheaper interior, definitely the price point would be a little bit lower than the X50. Well, that's all speculation, but it makes logic sense why we would assume it that way. But that's not to say that the Perodua SUV is it's just a small, cheap car that nobody wants. In fact, it has quite a number of interesting features. It also has advanced driving assistance systems, which bundles autonomous emergency braking, forward collision warning, adaptive cruise control, but that remains to be seen whether it's available in the Perodua SUV. It also has an attractive 9-inch touchscreen infotainment system that supports Apple CarPlay. Now that's what I think it's better than the X50 in terms of interior connectivity, because come on, who's gonna use Baidu Maps and Chinese apps in Malaysia? Having your iPhone or connected to the infotainment system and run Apple CarPlay is 1,000 times better and more seamless in terms of the connectivity. Now, another last interesting point is that the Perodua SUV has a larger boot compared to the X50. 39 liters more. So the Perodua SUV has 369 liters versus 330 liters on the X50. Now, although personally I have not driven the Perodua SUV / Toyota Race / Rocky, I have some questions / a little bit of doubt for these kind of vehicles, because firstly it uses a turbocharged engine. So turbo, it's how is it going to fare in Malaysia, the longevity, the reliability, and this would effectively be Perodua's first CVT gearbox. Well, I have no qualms about having a CVT gearbox. It's just that whether they are able to have enough parts supply, whether it's tuned for Malaysia, whether they have the engineering capabilities to refine it and tune it, as well as maintain and make sure it's, again, reliability, because Perodua has always known for its reliability, and if because of this turbocharged engine and CVT gearbox that not very much suited for our warm and hot climate, I think this would be an Achilles heel for Perodua and very detrimental for the brand image. But nevertheless, we're still very much looking forward for both cars, have them in our local shores, have a local test drive review, and bring you guys our impressions of these two cars in Malaysia when the time comes. So to wrap it up, who are the target markets for the Proton X50 and Perodua SUV? Well, in a nutshell, people who would want and be more inclined towards the Proton X50 would be those looking for a more premium, advanced, high-tech kind of product where they can indulge in all the technologies and luxuries that they could ever imagine in a car. On the other hand, the Perodua SUV is meant for those looking for a practical, no-frills kind of SUV with a good-looking exterior, and most importantly with the stamp of reliability that is from Toyota, Daihatsu and Perodua. So as you can see, these two cars are not comparable apple to apple. They are ever so slightly different, and more importantly, I think that the price point would also be different. The Perodua SUV at a lower price point, whereas the Proton X50 would be ever so slightly higher than the Perodua SUV. So we want to hear your thoughts. What do you think? Are you a fan of the Proton X50 or are you a fan of the Perodua SUV? Let us know in the comment section below. Before I end this video, I would like to express my heartfelt appreciation to each and every one of you who has supported us at WapCar.my in the past couple of months. We try to read and respond to each and every one of your comments down in the comment section below, even the not so nice ones. Yeah, but let me know what you guys think about these kind of content where we sit down and discuss and talk about the latest automotive happenings in the industry. As always, thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos like this.